name's Paige and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are talking all about Tyler Perry's new Netflix movie, Mea Culpa. And I have so much to say, so I'm not even gonna bore you guys with this intro. Let's just get right into it. So I'm just gonna run through the plot with you guys really quickly so that I can actually tell you how I really feel about this movie. So Mea Culpa stars Kelly Rowland as our main character Mia, and in this movie she is a lawyer who is having a rocky marriage, and in the midst of this her brother-in-law is also a district attorney. So Mia takes on the case of an artist named Zaire who is accused of murdering his girlfriend, and he could possibly face the death penalty if he is found guilty. And then through all of these random events, Mia falls for Zaire, they have a brief affair, and then towards the end of the movie, we find out that Zaire was, spoiler alert, framed for murder by her district attorney brother-in-law, and Mia's husband was in on it, and his mother-in-law, and Zaire is innocent. Basically, okay? But to get to this point, so much happened in this movie, and Tyler Perry did what he does best. He threw the entire kitchen sink in this movie. And I would describe this movie as just completely silly and unserious because I don't know what I expected going into this. Tyler Perry movies at this point have become synonymous with just being silly, ridiculous, having no real direction and a very convoluted plot. And it's like, you know what you're gonna get when you get a Tyler Perry movie. But I thought, because Kelly Rowland is in this movie, that it actually might be decent, and maybe he's heard the criticism, taken some of the notes, hired some other writers or some editors or someone check this work and look over it. But of course that didn't happen, but I don't know what else I expected, you know? And the crazy thing, like, this might end up being a rant about Tyler Perry, but the crazy thing to me about Tyler Perry and his art is that it just progressively has gotten worse over the years, because the bigger the budget that he's gotten, the worse these movies have gotten. And that's actually insane to me, because Diary of a Mad Black Woman was a decent movie. It was good. It's one of my favorites of his movies. Family Reunion, A Family That Prays. Like, he has movies that are actually like Why Did I Get Married, on a good caliber, and they were made when he had like a fraction of the budget that he has now. He's a billionaire with a big B. And I guess the B stands for baby, I ain't about to pay nobody to work on these movies, because so a major problem with this movie for me was the dialogue. It took me right out of it. When the movie was opening and, you know, the opening credits are playing, I'm like, oh, okay, this looks nice. The color grading was nice. The lighting looked really nice. But then they start talking. So in the beginning of the movie, we see Kelly Rowland and her husband in therapy, and it's like clearly not going well. There's tension. The therapist is like, Mia, how do you feel? And we find so much like plot and character development in this one scene. It's like Tyler Perry just wanted to tell us everything so that he didn't have to spend time actually developing the story and developing the characters. Because in this opening scene, Mia's dialogue literally just told me like who half of the characters were in like one line, and it was so wordy and unnatural, and like no one in real life would even utter these words. Let me read it for you, okay? After Mia's husband, Cal, storms off, Cal, why does that sound like, y'all ever seen that clip? What is that show? Freaking, when he's like, he's the best boyfriend I ever had. South Park. Oh my gosh. Every time I say Cal, I keep thinking of South Park. But anyway, so he storms out of therapy, and Mia says he only feels guilty because she has cancer, talking about his mom. She has cancer and he lost his job 8 months ago, and he keeps begging me not to tell his brother or my friend, who is also my sister-in-law. In what world would someone utter like that long run-on sentence? Like, he only feels guilty because she has cancer and he lost his job 8 months ago, and he keeps begging me not to tell his brother or my friend, who is also my sister-in-law. The synopsis for this movie says a criminal defense attorney takes on a case of a seductive artist accused of murdering his girlfriend. But when burning desire takes hold, things get hot and dangerous. Nothing about this movie was hot and dangerous. If anything, it was just odd and confusing, cold and confusing. You know, it was weird. This was, I guess, supposed to be an erotic thriller. Nothing was giving erotic. Tyler Perry needs to please go get on Book Talk and like read some books, because I've read books spicier than this movie. I don't feel like Trevante, Rhodes and Kelly Rowland had much chemistry. They are both really good people, or they're really good people. I don't know these people. What? They're really good looking people, but it wasn't giving like they want to rip each other's clothes off. And Trevante Rhodes' character Zaire is supposed to be things that don't make sense. He's supposed to be seductive and attractive, and we didn't get anything that was seductive about this man. He didn't court her. He didn't try to take her on a date. He didn't even like make it easy for her to work on this case. He literally was the most difficult client to work with, and he was annoying the heck out of me. If I was Mea, I would just be annoyed. Like, I don't want to work with you. I'm annoyed by you. Because it was like little things. Like, she's telling him, hey, you shouldn't be smoking because smoking, you know what I'm talking about. You shouldn't be doing that. And he's just like, whatever. Like, okay, annoying. Mea has been meeting him at his loft to do business and talk about the case. Number one, they barely talk about this case in the entire movie. We don't get any court scenes. Where was the legal jargon? Like, Tyler Perry couldn't look up like some legal terminology or anything to like make Mea actually seem like a credible lawyer. She was probably the worst lawyer I've ever seen in my life, because why would you ever meet your client without, okay, let's just say you don't want to meet your client in an office. What about a coffee shop? What about a public space? What about you bring someone else with you to the loft? If you're gonna meet your client at his loft, why are you going by yourself? Like, this is already looking bad. This is already very unprofessional, and I don't see someone who's supposed to be a successful lawyer who thinks it's okay to like just go to a man's loft in the middle of the night, even though he's your client. And they didn't even discuss law. They didn't even discuss the case, really. She asked him like 3 questions and he was very vague on all of his answers, and it was very annoying. So like, in what way would she want to fall for him? So now we fast forward a little bit more, and Kelly thinks, okay, so also Ron Rico, who was Tyreek in Sister Sister, is in this movie. Now, he had the best performance of the entire movie, in my opinion. And now Jimmy is Mea's really good friend, who is also a PI. And I guess Mea has used Jimmy to like spy on her husband before. So Jimmy sends Mea a picture of her husband going into a hotel room with the girl who old girl from the dinner earlier that the mother-in-law just like absolutely loves. So Mea sees this picture and she's like all upset, of course, but like I want to call him Ron Rico. Jimmy is a terrible PI, probably like the world's worst PI, because we find out later in the movie that like the entire family was at the hotel. It wasn't just the husband and the girl, but it's like, if you were a PI, you would probably like know that, or at least wait outside the hotel long enough to like figure out the whole situation. But of course, before we find out that little twist, Mea's pissed. She's super mad. She's like, oh, he's cheating on me. I'm gonna go get my lick back now. So she marches her little tail up to Zaire's apartment. Oh, and I forgot to mention, this movie has so much going on. It's just like, I keep forgetting like all these random points that Tyler Perry put in this movie, because before she gets the call, she is outside in the parking lot of Zaire's apartment, because she goes over there, I guess. I can't remember why she goes over to his place, because she shouldn't have been there in the first place. She's a lawyer. Okay. So she's over there. She walks in and he's smashing his neighbor. And it's like very uncomfortable. So she tries to leave and he like won't press the elevator button for her to leave. He just wants to like make eye contact while he's receiving. from his neighbor. And it's just like, ew, like that scene really gave me the ick. And it's like Tyler Perry, ew, like I kind of want to barf that Tyler Perry wrote that and was like, yeah, this is like what's gonna get the girls going. Honestly, that icked me out so bad. It made me feel so uncomfortable because like if a man did that to me, like I don't care how fine I think you are, like you're not about to stare dead in my eyes while some random from next door and you are hooking up. Like gag me. Ew. And then to make matters worse, she runs outside into her car after she sees that, but I guess it like got her a little hot and bothered because that's when Jimmy calls her. He says your husband's cheating. She goes back into the apartment and tells the old girl to leave. Well, I think Zaire tells the girl to leave, and then they start making out, and then they go on a ride on his motorcycle, and then they come right back, and then they do it, and they're covered in paint. Disgusting. Tyler Perry, jail. Jail, prison time, lock him up. So they're doing all this and like no law has been practiced. Nothing has been done. It's just a bunch of craziness and it's just more things that don't make sense. So eventually, well, I think the next day, Jimmy tells Mea, like, oh, just kidding, sorry. Like, the whole family was there. And she's like, oh my God, Jimmy. And she tells him what she did. And at this point, I thought Jimmy is an op. Because what kind of friend says, you're human, it's okay. Like, we all, things happen. Like, you deserve a little one-off every now and then to go cheat on your husband. What? Make it make sense. So then Mea goes to talk to this lady who runs an art gallery, and it turns out that the lady, she got people boycotting in front of her studio because she still has Zaire's art up, and of course the public at large thinks Zaire's a murderer. And as soon as she sees Mea, she's like, oh yeah, I can tell y'all have been getting it on because yeah, he got me too, girl. And she basically tells him like, go check his paintings at home because he's painting all these women. So what does she do? Mea goes to the apartment, she checks the paintings. He's like, hey babe, gag, whatever. She's ripping these paintings off the ceiling, and guess what? Here's all these women's faces under these paintings, including the girl that he's accused of murdering, and the freaking painting says, die, B, like, you deserved it, or something like that. Like, you can't even, like, this is the most unserious stuff ever, because he's saying that he's innocent and he didn't kill her, but he just got, I guess he got mad and just wrote, die, B, you deserved it, or whatever the heck, on this girl's painting, and left it up. And mind you, he also has a painting of Mea's face. Did I say that? I don't know. He has a painting of Mea's face that was up there too, which is like, if anybody even like, she could lose, I feel like this is like stuff that you could lose your license over. Like, is she thinking? She's not smart. She's not smart. Now we're finally getting to the end of the movie. We're wrapping it up. Mea's husband finds out she's a cheater because the DA brother-in-law found out that Mea tried to take herself off the case because of an inappropriate relationship with her client. The husband's freaking out, blah, blah, blah. Mea's like, you know what? I'm going to go to the Dominican Republic because I need to get away, which is weird because I thought they said that they were pressed for money at the beginning of the movie, but I guess she got enough money to go to the DR. So she goes to the Dominican Republic. While she's in the Dominican Republic, she runs into the girl that Zaire is accused of murdering, and the girl is working as a maid in the Dominican Republic. Mea runs after her. She's like, let me talk to you, and like running after the girl. The girl's running away. Mea calls her district attorney brother-in-law and is like, she's alive, Zaire is innocent. Why would you even call him? Because you know he don't like you. He's also the prosecution. If anything, she should have just called Jimmy. None of these decisions make sense. Why wouldn't you call Jimmy? Jimmy's a PI. Why wouldn't you call the judge? Why wouldn't you call, like, there's someone else on this case that could have been called. Once she's at the brother-in-law's house, the whole family has assembled, okay? Even the best friend is there, and they're acting weird, they're acting sketchy, they're trying to offer her a drink. It's just too much. It comes out basically that the DA brother-in-law like I said at the beginning, set up Zaire, and he set him up because Zaire slept with the best friend. But if you're my best friend, why wouldn't I already know that you slept with this guy? Like, me and my best friends be talking about stuff. So like, why would you not know that your best friend slept with an art guy named Zaire? If that's your best friend, you would know that, probably. And if your best friend knows that you're like messing with this man, at which point would she say, even when she took the case, if I took the case, I feel like my best friend would be like, girl, yeah, you know, me and him hooked up a couple years ago, or like whatever, you know, it would just come out in like girl chat. But I'm not even gonna bore y'all with the rest of this crazy movie. The ending happens, there's like a crazy weird fight that's absolutely ridiculous. Mea tries to crash their car into a semi truck. There's a text message at the end. Zaire's freaking name is clear, and he's like, thanks to Mea, blah blah blah, for getting me off, the lawyer who saved me. And that is Mea Culpa. Should Mea work in that town ever again? No. Worst lawyer in history. I will probably never watch this movie again, because at least it's like Temptation. This movie was kind of like Temptation, but with like lawyers and art. But at least with Temptation, like, that movie is absolutely ridiculous. Terrible wigs, terrible writing, the whole nine. But at least it's entertaining. And, like, when you go back and watch it, it's, like, ridiculous and fun. This one was just ridiculous. And I really wish that Tyler Perry would do better by his actors and the people he employs. Because it just feels like Tyler Perry puts no real effort into these movies. And I heard something about how he wants to start using AI to like write his films, and I just think that that's just really sad, honestly, because obviously, like, I like to come on here and talk about movies and, you know, have a little have a little giggle, have a little cackle, and, you know, just like chat it up. But it's just sad that someone of his magnitude and of his caliber, who has these resources, who is a billionaire, could make good movies for these actors to be in, and could, you know, help, especially as someone who makes movies that are like very geared towards the Black community and giving Black actors work and opportunity. It's just sad to me, because I feel like it's great that these actors are getting work and they got paid, but how helpful is that if you don't look like you're a competent actor from taking this job, because the writing is so bad and the direction is so bad, and there's like no effort put into it, and there's no like passion, there's no love, and there's no care for the people that you're putting in these movies, because you just refuse to outsource. Anyway, that was my thoughts on Tyler Perry's Mea Culpa. I can't wait to see you guys in the next video. If you guys want to hear more of me chatting, you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at The Daily Page. On my TikTok and Instagram is where I post more like girly type stuff. So like days in the life, stuff that I like to use on my hair and my skin and nails and all that type of stuff. So if you care about that, then definitely go follow me over there. And I will see you guys in the next video, and we'll chat some more. Bye.
Speed. Marker.
Too much chemistry. Lord. So like, no. I don't know why. I cannot stop yawning. Oh my gosh.